Welcome to Conversations with Toy, a blogcast tackling life one episode at a time. This is the time to air out life's craziest moments. This space is all about speaking about life's hang-ups and ways in which we can leave better than when we started. Topics are all about ways we can find space to be better in life, love, mental space, and health.
Happy Friday. I hope that you have had the absolute most amazing week. We are back with another episode of Conversations with Toy. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Toy, the podcaster. I'm also a content creator, a blogger, freelance writer. I wear a lot of hats, digital creator. I do a lot of things, as well as a mom and wife. I absolutely am grateful and happy to be here. Thank you guys for your continued support. I mean, this is season 11. We are really doing great things, and I just love being able to use my voice as a point of conversation. And that's just what this boils down to. Having a conversations about things that we really need to talk about, especially when it affects our mental health and wellness. And a lot of things affect our mental health and wellness. So if you come on the podcast and we're talking about dating or marriage or being single and loving it, wherever you fit in the middle, we are going to just talk about all the things. That is this purpose of this blogcast, as I call it, because it's an extension of my blog. So thank you so much for, just rocking it out with us, or I should say with me. I don't know why I keep saying us. If you're a podcaster, you know how hard it is to say us because it's almost like you're trying to be inclusive, but it's just me. I have no co-host and I'm okay with that. This week has been a very interesting week. I feel like every time that we have been coming on the podcast, somebody is getting indicted on new charges. There are so many things that is happening, and I'm just sitting here scratching my head saying to myself, what is going on? What is going on? But I feel like it's not going to stop. I feel like between now until the beginning of 2025 and even further, I feel like there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of things shifting in Hollywood, shifting politically, shifting in all the ways. And I just want to make sure that we talk about those things because, again, it's important to have some sort of an outlet to be able to talk about those things and or have a discussion without feeling like somebody's going to judge you. Because a lot of times when I have discussions, especially when it's about mental health and wellness, it's not coming from a licensed practitioner advice. It's coming from the everyday person who's struggling every day, who's figuring out, sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't, sometimes I'm in the middle, and we just sometimes have to figure it out. So that is the perspective. Thank you for coming to this podcast. Let me just say, for those who may be practically new, you've never listened to the podcast before, and this is your first time, I greet you. Welcome. I hope this is a warm space, a welcoming space for you. That is always the goal. The journey is to keep it warm, to keep it, everything flowing the way it needs to flow. And my goal is simple. Tune in, listen, tell me your thoughts. You can send me a message as you follow me on the different social medias, all of the things. I am just so grateful for you. Now, this week has been interesting, like I said, with indictments, which we will talk about. New York City mayor that was just recently indicted, and apparently a long time coming. But before we get into that, Hoda KotB of the Today Show made an announcement today. And in her announcement, she stated that she would be leaving the show. She needs to focus on her daughters. And I found that to be admirable. Again, any mom who has been in a career and has to take, a step back, a pause, a break, you understand her announcement so well. And maybe, I know it's not just me because I am a mom and I've done that plenty of times. When I first became a mom, all of my children were unexpected. It was not one of them was planned, I don't know. It just, none of them were planned. And so when I had my first one, I was determined to get back into the workforce. Here's what happened. When I've had my first child, I had everything planned out. So immediately I started putting my money to making sure that I could support her, moving things around, doing all the things. So I had short-term disability that would have kicked in and would have provided me an income while I was home during my postpartum, recovery. Well, I ended up going and having her 6 weeks early. And for whatever reason, because I had her 6 weeks early, the company was like, we're not going to pay that. Now, when I say company, I don't mean the company I work for, but whoever they had the short-term disability with, they would not honor it. They would not pay it. Can you believe that? Like, how am I supposed to be like, now here, baby, you got to stay in here for 6 more weeks because you got to be a full-term baby in order for us to get this money. So no, that didn't work out. So plan number 1 squashed. So now I am, on the struggle bus. Thankfully, her dad was just great. He made sure he supported us because that's what he's supposed to do during that 6-week period. So as soon as I get back to work, I was like, I got to get back to work. Well, let's throw a flag on the play. I get back to work. My daughter had been sick since like day 1, obviously 6 weeks early, breathing issues, things happening, right? So I go back to work, and now I'm missing a lot of work because every other week it felt like she was in the hospital. Now, she might have went to the hospital maybe like twice a month, and every time that she went, they kept her. Now, sometimes it would be like a Friday, and then I would have to take off a Friday and a Monday, or a Friday, Monday, Tuesday, something to that degree, okay? So now there's that. Then they decide to downsize. Well, of course they're going to cut my job, even though I'm supposed to have some sort of protection with all the things. And to be honest with you, I could have sued, but I was like, you know what? At this point, I just now want to go about my way. So I got a severance package. The severance package was nice. I'm not going to complain. The package was beautiful. It actually kept me for like at least 1 year, 2 years after I had, after I left, which was great because I had just gotten engaged. So then I moved to Philadelphia, and that's how I got here. But now I moved to Philadelphia, and throw another flag on the play. I find I'm pregnant again with my son. So I have this toddler who is in and out of being sick. I just got laid off from my job, and I have a severance package that's supposed to keep me. And then I move in with my, at the time, fiance and his mom, because we had a plan to save money and do all these things, have our wedding and do all the things. And listen, work, I was not about to go to work and put out money in daycare because it was expensive. So here I am with a toddler. Here I am with a baby in my belly. I go to have that son. I'm ready to get back into the work field. I decided to do so, and I find out that literally it felt like, and this is not a game. This is the truth. After I got to work, I ended up pregnant again. 3rd time's the charm. So now I have a 3rd baby on the way, and I have 2 children in daycare, and I have a baby on the way. So I already know the deal. I am not going to be able to afford to put all 3 kids in nobody's daycare. So now I am just going to figure this out. However, my job was beautiful where they allowed me to bring the 3rd baby with me to the daycare, to work. And so we kept her with me at work for 6 months. So now the fear of me having to put 3 kids in daycare is now squashed temporarily, because now I can bring her to work for 6 months. Well, this last baby was exclusively breastfed, and so I tried everything to get her on the bottle, and it would not work. I had lactation consultants come in. It would not work. I did everything that I was supposed to do. It would not work. So now I've gone from working with this child for 6 months, who has gotten completely attached to me to the point where I cannot even breathe or possibly go to the bathroom because she won't go to other people, not even her father. Okay. So now I have to stop working after those 6 months because we put her in daycare, and she goes to daycare and refuses to eat. Well, the daycare can't keep her in there because she just refuses to eat. We had the lactation consultant go with me to the daycare to get her in that element, to try to get her comfortable. Nothing. So now I have to take what's called a leave from work. So then we discovered, okay, let's try working from home, and let's do that. So I did that for a while, and then eventually it just was like, let's just keep it pushing. So then the next year, my oldest has gone off to school. My son is in preschool. This baby's still a baby, but she can hold her own now. And this baby was exclusively breastfed for almost 3 years. So just do the math. The point I say to this is that women, when we have children, our careers will take a hit. My career has taken so many hits. So when I finally did start going back to work, and let me tell you, I had decided after the 3rd child, I'd actually decided before the 3rd child, but didn't do my due justice to, make sure I took care of that, to make sure that, things was going to be clear until I got my tube side. In the midst of me going to the appointment to get the tube side, found out I was pregnant, but, I wasn't thinking about, maybe I should, use a backup method for, contraception. So here we go. However, when I did decide to tie my tubes, which is my personal choice, my career was already at a hit moment. So again, having to stop working, go to work, stop working, go to work, stop working, go to work, for the sake of the family, for the sake of the children. Yeah, it does happen. You do the things you have to do because you love your children. Obviously, it's not my kids' fault that, life be lifing and people around me were doing what they were doing. It's not their fault. But in the same token, when a woman just literally does what they have to do to move around and move about, it does bring about challenges. So when I see Hoda KotB saying I have to take a step back, I 1000% understand because I've taken steps back, steps back, steps back, steps back. It's at the point now where, again, my kids are now all in school. I have one in high school now, praise be, one in junior high, one in elementary. And so we're moving a little differently. They're older, they can hold their own. If I wanted to, I could do what I need to do during the day and work and do all the things I had to do, then pick them up and keep it moving. And all those things work for me. But it took me so long to get to that point. So for women, when you have to understand something, who you choose to have a child with will matter. Now, in Hoda KotB's situation, I don't really think that's an issue. Her issue is just, again, doing what she has to do for her children. And my reason for bringing that up is because, again, that long drawn out story is just to illustrate that there are millions of women who go through this every single day. We are the first ones that be the first line of defense that when it comes to staying at home, it's going to be mostly us. Now, I'm not telling you that there's not good stay-at-home dads, because there are. I know some. They are amazing in every way. But for women, it's just the way it works. And unfortunately, we take the hit. This is why I don't want to hear nobody's husband, boyfriend, partner making derogatory comments about a woman who is a stay-at-home mom, because while you're able to flourish, a lot of times when there's a difference between men and women when they're parents. There's a lot of men who are hands-on that do all the things that will take turns and, be as fair as possible. There are a lot. There are the others where, again, they don't even do their part to step in for their partner, right? So they expect their partners to do everything. Every time the baby is sick, that partner has to stay at home. The partner has to take all the hit and all these different things. And again, women are the first in line. So kudos, first of all, to every woman, whether you work at home or whether you are a stay-at-home mom. Either way, both jobs are equally hard, because when you have to put your child in the hands of somebody else and trust that they're going to treat them with enough decency and respect for you to be able to pick them up and continue with your night, it takes a lot to do. And for the moms who say, listen, I can't even afford to go to work because my money is going towards, if I do go to work, it will go towards daycare. That's how I felt. And it wasn't even how I felt. That's what happened. I'm working, I'm at the house, I got adult interaction, but my money was going to daycares because I always had two at one point. I always had two that had to be in daycare. So again, I, as a mom, or even if you decide you don't want to have children because this is not the fight you want to sign up for, you're not offending me. And I don't think you would offend most women who have logical sense. I've always felt like a woman should be able to make the decision about whether or not she wants to have that child, because my mother always taught me, never have more children than you're willing to take care of on your own. Because God forbid, anything could happen. You could divorce your partner could pass away, your partner could just walk off and decide he's never coming back, she's never coming back, but most of the time it's usually the men. And you have to be willing to take care of the children that you bore. So if you're going to have children, if you make the decision to have children, you got to make that decision to decide all of those different factors. Because when I tell you life be lifing, when I tell you how many times I've been hit financially, mentally, emotionally, in order to be a parent, and I hear a woman says they don't want to be a parent, that does not offend me in the least bit. The first thing I'm going to tell people when I hear them say that is, I support you. Please do what's best for you. Because again, if you're going to be the one holding all the cards, shouldn't you be the one that makes a decision whether or not you want to have a child or not? Like, seriously. You hear about these wives, we've been hearing about the wives, that, the husband was like, oh, you can't even use, pain relief. And let me tell you something. I have heard some men that I actually knew personally that would tell their wives that. This is when I was a teenager. I remember exclusively when I was in church, it's always got to be some type of religious affiliation. Have you ever noticed that? Okay. We'll get to that another time. But when I was a teenager, there was a couple, and I won't say their names, but what I will say is that this man was very adamant about the fact of how he wanted his children to come in the earth and all the other stuff. She wanted to have her tubes tied. He said absolutely not. He already had children. She had one child. They came together. They had more kids. This man was probably one of the most abusive men that I had ever seen. And this was when I was a teenager in church. Okay. And then with all of that going down, when she decided, she was like, okay, I need to have pain medication because, but having a baby, what is wrong with people? I've been seeing a lot of these men use these like birthing stimulators or period stimulators, and they ain't lasting on the first click. But you can tell a woman that she can't have pain medication giving birth to one of your bald-headed babies. I'm confusion. I am personally confusion. How do we wrap our lips to tell somebody else, I'm sorry, you're dealing with this pain, but I get to tell you what you cannot and cannot have? I'm sorry, what? Ooh, so as a teenager, I actually saw that in play. It got so bad that when she was ready to tie her tube, security had to come into the room to remove this man out of the room so she can have her tubes tied. And I praise God that she did, because had she not, she had a lot of kids. She would have had way more if she had been still dealing with this man. And so, when I tell you that this thing is not a game, this is not a joke, do you know how your mental health— Listen, I've talked about this a million times. My mental health during my postpartum depression was one thing, but my mental health also took a hit when I'm running around trying to turn Caillou off, trying to listen to Barney, I love you, you love me, but who was loving me enough to get me the heck up out of here and also provide me an income so I wouldn't have to depend strictly on my fiance and husband and all the different titles he's had in our relationship. Who was doing that? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if there's a woman that's a stay-at-home mom, if she has a man who feels as he's beating his chest like King Kong because he's provided, but when he comes home, he's kind of like distant. He doesn't play with his kids. He doesn't help around the house because he feels as he's done his job and this is your job. That irritates me. But even further than it irritating me, the mother who has to live in that, the mother who has to take and live and try to get through that mentally, emotionally. You're talking about mental health? Go talk to a stay-at-home mom about their mental health. Go talk to a working mom about their mental health when everything is on them. And even after both people work a job, that wife and that mother is still required to come home and clean and put the house together and cook the food and manage all the schedules. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I really don't understand why in 2024, in the year of our Lord and Savior, why are we even having to argue such things? Why do we have to do all these, we got to have these TED Talks about it? There shouldn't even be a TED Talk, because at the end of the day, this is real life. This is real life. There are women out here every day that are struggling, drowning. They feel like they are dry drowning because, again, you can't get your partner to see you. You can't get your partner to understand because in some type of way, he feels the need to belittle you. He feels the need to make sly conversations. You ask for some time to go away just to go do your own thing, to get your mind right, to get yourself together. And that man is like, well, you don't do nothing but sit around the house. You don't really do nothing but Sirs, what is wrong with thee? Are you okay? Because, listen, doing all the things in that house, running and managing, running after your, like I said, now I'm all for the children. Everybody's baby head is bobbleheaded as far as I'm concerned today, because it's not meant to be a derogatory, but we running around your bobbleheaded kids and you got audacity in your throat. Where is audacity on sale? Are they giving it away? What's happening here? Women of different economical backgrounds from every walk of life are struggling in their parenthood. Men, fathers and dads are struggling their men in their fatherhood as well. But it's somehow a problem because that woman should be able to take it all and just endure it all, and she should never complain. Are y'all all right? Do we need to have a seance? Because it sounds like some spirit has bewildered you if you think that that's some easy walk in the park. I've been on both sides. I've been on all three of the sides, working, being in the house, coming home. I've been in the house where I didn't go nowhere. You still in yesterday's clothes from a child that spit up on you. And then you don't have no help. You don't have a lot of family. The one thing that I appreciated about me being in Lancaster when I was in Lancaster was that my support system was hella strong. And it was a lot stronger in Lancaster than it was in Philadelphia, which was another reason why I struggled. I had a cousin that would come over and he would sit and play and do and take my child. And we would just, it was so much, it wasn't easy, but I didn't feel the stressors that I felt from being in the house. Now it came from working and taking care of a sick baby. And that wasn't even as stressful as it was until I moved to Philadelphia with limited support. I need y'all to understand that. I had more support and my plate was lighter when I had the support in Lancaster, even though I worked a full-time job and took care of a sickly baby, than when it was when I moved to Philadelphia, didn't have any financial concerns, and yet I still had less support, and it still struggled more here than I did in Lancaster. How does that even make sense? Because being at home is not for the faint. Being at home is not for the faint. I have to keep telling y'all that, because the way in which people keep saying things about stay-at-home moms, and then it's the war between who's the better mom. Everybody's out here on the struggle bus. You don't get no badge because you stayed at home, or you don't get no badge because you went to work. All you have to do, and all you're trying to do, is do the best job you can do for your family and make the best weighted decision according to what you know with what you have, and make the best decision out of that. And that's for all parents. Okay? So Hoda, we appreciate all the things you have done at the Today Show. You've been there for such a long time. I've been watching you forever and a day. But again, I understand that taking that hit, it is what it is. Now, the other conversation that we have to talk about is Miss Cardi B and Offset. I need y'all to take us out of the group chat. I really need you to take us out of the group chat. Here's a couple of valid points that I saw during this back and forth. Okay. One, Cardi B says that Offset is a lame and that he's trying to make her jealous and upset. And men and women will do that. When you're in the midst of a breakup, you will do whatever you can to make that person feel whatever type of way, just to pull in some emotional pull. Here's my advice as a married woman. If you are truly over with and your person is trying to contact you, find a way to find some type of middle ground that you can find one way or so to communicate, because they do have 3 small children, including a newborn, because that baby is just born. Okay. And so what has to happen in this situation is that we need Cardi B to put a boundary up, because Offset may not be at the point where he can do that. Okay. So I need Cardi B to put up a boundary that says, here's where you need to contact me. If it's about the divorce proceedings, you can contact my attorney. If it's about our children, let's find a mediator or somebody in the middle, and or you can only contact me about my children. Our children, I should say. I don't want to say mine, because they are both their children. That is the boundary that needs to be set. If it's something about the divorce, contact my attorney. If it's something about our children, let's either have a middle person in between us, and or let's just only exclusively talk about the children. When that person, whether it be Cardi B or Offset, goes into the personal and says, well, I know you with somebody else, stop the conversation. What did you need to know about this child? We were talking about ABC. Always take it back, because listen, I'm not about to go back and forth and argue with nobody. I'm not about to bring everybody into our situation. I get it. She's a celebrity. She's expressing how she feels. Many women have done it. They have gone online and bashed their person. The only thing that I can worry about and think about at the time, and I pray that I never get to that point where me and my husband is at the point where we are divorcing, and then in the midst of divorcing that we go online and bash each other. Because the only thought that's in the back of my mind is the fact that at some point these children will then have to read and see the things that were said and done about their partner, about their father or their mother. And to me, that's the only thing that should be keeping them from going back and forth with each other online. If they're going to divorce, go ahead and divorce. Like I said, there were some valid points made. I honestly think that Cardi B is at a point where she's over it 100%. And I pray that if that's the case, that she will do everything that she can to protect her assets, as well as making sure that she take care of those kids, and then find a way to just kind of be a co-parent to Offset, and the same for Offset. Just keep it moving and keep it pushing, because the different stories that have come out about Offset, the different stories that are coming out about Cardi B, at the end of the day, nobody wins when the family argues. And so my only goal and my only thought process is about the kids. What can we do to communicate so that we can be in a good co-parenting space? Let's do that. What can we do if it's about the divorce? Let's have our attorneys bash it out. I don't want to have a conversation with you about this, anything with the divorce. It doesn't matter about assets, splitting up anything, homes. I want all of that to go through the attorney. Okay. But again, when you are in the midst of an emotional situation, there's no greater emotional situation than being with your partner for 1,001 years. Discover that your partner has not been faithful, true, and honest, and discover that at this point, you are now at a point where you have to divorce and separate. There's no greater hurt. There's no greater pain on both sides. I honestly think both of them are hurting. But I need them to take us, the people who don't have nothing to do, that can't weigh in on their marriage, to give them any advice outside of the advice I just gave. If anybody is giving any outside advice other than that, it's not it. Now, there's been some funny people. This one girl, I forget her name. I saw her on TikTok. So if you saw it, I liked it. It was funny, right? There's a lot of funny advice going around. She said, listen, if that man is cheating on you and he's doing all that stuff, just go ahead and cheat back. I'm not a cheater, but I'm a cheat back. I thought that was funny. I don't think that's funny to the point where it's like, oh, well, you thought that was funny, so you feel like you're going to be in helping them be, degradate each other. I didn't say that. I just thought what she said was funny. Here is the thing. I am a married woman trying to give one other married woman advice. And the only advice that can be given is what can we do to be good co-parents and let the lawyers handle the rest. That's it. There's no other advice, because here's the thing. Emotionally, you are tied to that person, and you will probably tied to that person to some extent forever, because you've been married to them and you have 3 children by them. Okay. I can't tell her what to do about that part. I don't know if she should go talk to her therapist. I don't know if she should take a break from social media. I don't know what she should do, because only she knows what she needs. And every woman does not go through this process the same. And so this could be her way, and kudos to her. All I'm saying is that my advice is not going to change as a married woman. It's not going to change. All I can tell you is that whatever positive that you can do to help get your mindset past the point of hurt and pain, that's all I wish for her. Because again, I've known my husband for 25 years. Should we decide to part ways, it's not going to be like we just skipping off and we just going to sign the papers and I'm done. Even if I am done, it's not going to be an easy road. There are going to be emotions. Some days are going to be good days. Some days are going to be bad days. But all I can think about is how can we preserve the relationship to the point where our children don't get to the point where they're going to school and somebody, you heard what your mama said about your daddy. Oh, I heard what your daddy said about your mom, because that's how kids do, because that's what happens. And you'd be surprised, even though their kids are small or a little younger in age, you would be surprised how much parents talk about stuff amongst other parents on the phone, or what they're watching their parents watch online. And you'd be surprised what kids pick up. Who'd have thunk an impressionable child picking up stuff that they saw their parents saying or doing, watching or listening? So again, that's the only advice that I can give. Mentally, I know she can't be in a good headspace. One, she's still going through postpartum. She just had that baby. Okay. She's having a baby with someone who's been accused of cheating on her multiple times. Okay. And I don't want to hear, well, she knew he was this because he had done it before. Child, yeah. There's a lot of us that know we should do whatever before. There's a lot of us that have gone through stuff that we should have, we should have put our spidey senses together and figured it out. But love is love. And when you're in love with somebody, you got to go through some challenges, because it's just the way love works if you choose to make it work that way. Not everybody is, well, he going to treat me bad, I'm going to roll. You say that. But if you've ever been through a breakup, you know how hard that is, because you can be strong and true and tied to your situation. But when you're at home, when you're used to having that person lay up next to you, when you're used to like taking vacations, you're used to different things that person would say, little things that they would do, that's going to bother you. So let's stop acting as if Cardi B, because she's a celebrity, doesn't deserve to be treated with respect, and or that she's not hurting on the inside. You can hear the pain in her voice. You can hear the pain in her voice. And I would have to imagine that he's upset as well. Now, you might say he ain't got no reason to be upset. What he got and what he don't got is the fact that he is still yet human. So regardless of whatever took place between them, because God knows we'll never know the full extent of all the things, it's none of our business. I just want them to take us out of the group chat. It's great for entertainment. It gave us a story to talk about today on the podcast. But the real reality is you have 2 adults that are hurting, and you have children in the midst of that, including a newborn baby and Cardi B going through postpartum. I just want you to understand that that's not an easy thing to do. To be postpartum is strong enough. It's hell on wheels. But to also be postpartum and then having to get your body snatched so that you can come back because your job requires you to basically be on point. You have no time to breathe. You have no time to think. The difference between Cardi B and most other women is that we don't have the financial backing. If Cardi B wanted to, she could go back to work and then she could put in little slots to say, okay, I'm going to go to like a postpartum place where they just deal with her and allow her to relax and bring the baby with her and kind of woo-saw her way through. There are things like that. I've seen them. I've seen them. They exist, right? She can go do things like that where most women could not. But that doesn't change the gravity of the situation is that she is going through a very hurtful, possibly divorce. In addition to a very hurtful divorce, she is going through the fact that she's dealing with her husband. This is not some boyfriend. It's not a boo. This is her husband. A person she made a vow to. I just want her to take us out the group chat. But mentally and emotionally, we talk about mental health and wellness. Can you imagine the things she knows about what's going on? Can you imagine the facts that she probably sees or hears more about things about her relationship and her life on blogs? I couldn't imagine it. I'm a blogger. This is the one reason why I do not do entertainment blogging, because I don't want to be the contributing factor to that. That's just my personal business. That's just my personal thoughts. It's just not something I want to do. Now, again, obviously I will talk about things that happen, just like we're talking about on the podcast. Obviously, I will have conversations about certain other parts of it because, again, I've had, times where something has happened has been so crazy. It's like, I got to really talk about this on the blog. I've had those moments, but to be just a blogger that deals with celebrities, not my cup of tea. I like to bring conversations when I feel like it can help somebody else, a regular person, because we're not celebrities. Ain't none of us celebrities. I'm not a celebrity. You not one. But one thing we can say is that the advice for Cardi B is that, again, I'm sure she tried everything she could to not have to bring it to the live. But when you're dealing with a person like him, you got to kind of do it your way to get your point across. I understand that. I'm not saying it's the right way to do it, but I do understand it. And she don't have anything to prove to me. I'm just a lowly blogcaster. She don't have nothing to prove to me. Even though I'm married, my marriage is still not her marriage. Her marriage is still not mine. So either way, every marriage is personal, and that journey is super hella personal. And how you get through your personal situations will go up and down. It may not match what everybody thinks it's supposed to match. We got 2 women this week. We got Hoda KotB. She's leaving her job to focus on her children. There's something there. And then we have Cardi B, who is on the struggle bus right now. Okay, we got a lot going on, but mentally and emotionally, these are real life, everyday, serious situations that mean a lot to the people that are involved. Whether you be like, I don't give a care, but still they're going through it. And I'm sure if you lived a little bit, you could have gone through something yourself. Like my mom always said, and my grandma and them always said, if you just live a little, you'll see, because you never know what choices you'll make when you're in their situation. I would hope that I have the upright to uphold my kids and thought process when I'm going through something like that. Should I have to go through something like that? I would hope that I did. But somebody might have to be like, girl, now remember you was on that podcast and you said A, B, and C. They may have to pull my coattail and remind me, and I'm okay with that. Please do. But in the same token, these are real life situations. What's on today's To Be a Fly on the Wall segment? My fly on the wall moment of the week is that we continuously hear these stories about P. Diddy. He's going to be bringing him up quite often because the stuff that continuously happens where his name is brought up, where he's disgraced, all the things, is just going to be what it's going to be. So I'm not making no apologies about having to mention him, because as long as he's doing the most, as long as things are popping off, as long as there keeps being an update every 2.3 seconds, we're going to mention it. What I will say is this, that the issue that my fly on the wall moment and my issue is the fact that I want to know what all these celebrities that know that they was on that tape. See, here's the thing. I've heard somebody say, well, there was Diddy parties and then there was like Diddy after parties. If you were in that, all the celebrities that are in that after party, they know they did some strange things and didn't get no change. I want to know what is on your mind and thoughts, because you legitimately have to consider and think about the fact that you know there's a possibility that your behind, your body, and all the things are on this tape. You have to know. And so what are you prepared to say to your spouse? Because there's going to be, in my opinion, I know that there's going to be a lot of marriages that are going to break up, a lot of couples that are going to break up. There's going to be a lot of things going on that, that's going to hurt people's, careers, etc. What are y'all thinking? Because here's the thing. It's one thing to have somebody record and you don't know. It's another thing for somebody to take your phone and you know that there's a possibility. Because I know that there was some that knew he had to have cameras in there. Okay. And so you knew that man had cameras. He took your phone so you couldn't record, but he got your stuff on candid camera. What is the moment? What are you thinking right now? Because my thought process is with you. Because even if you say nothing to your spouse and you just let them go in there and they don't have no clue, I honestly hope that you have enough common sense to be the one that tells your person before the feds have to tell your person. Before, when this goes to court, it comes out and spills out into the public in a way that gut punches your person. I need you to do better than that. You got kids that are going to hear about this. They're going to have to read about this, that their lives too are going to be affected. I'm going to need you to put your hands up, receive it, and go ahead and do the right thing. And I know you probably saying, well, what if they don't got mines? There's a high chance that the feds have gotten all the things. There's a high chance that you should probably err on caution and err on the fact that it's most likely you're more likely to get got than you are not. So I need you to do the right thing and be the first person to tell your people that are involved in your camp, the people who work with you, all the things. I need you to have that airtight, because you should never allow the courts, you should never allow the feds or anybody else have to come to your people and tell them without you being the first one to tell them, because you've already messed up. You're already messed up. Now, if you were a victim, you didn't know you were being recorded, or you didn't know he was drugging you, those are things. You're a victim. You should still probably tell somebody that you were probably there, and there's a good chance that you're on that tape or tapes. You probably should consider that. So yes, we'll have to see how this all pans out. So as I stated from the very beginning, just these indictments that just come out every 2.3 seconds, they're out of pocket. So New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been charged with 5. That is correct. 5 charges. Okay, they include, these are federal counts, by the way: bribery, wire fraud, conspiracy, soliciting campaign donations from foreign individuals. And these are 5 charges. Now, I know you heard me say 4, but I'm sure there's like a variation between one of them. So 5 charges, 5 federal charges. Here's the thing. I keep telling you, we talked about this last week. When the feds have a case, they don't come and they don't rush you and then build a case. Their case is built, then they come for you. Okay, so the feds will get their case and then come for you. It is always better to have a state charge than it is to have a federal charge. I just want you to know that. So now that they have federal charges, they have already built their case, they already have their evidence, and then they go and come for you. As of right now of my recording, he has been indicted. From my understanding, he has to turn himself in, or they may just pull a Diddy and then rush in there and grab him at some point prior to this coming out. But again, that's what we have for right now. He has retained a lawyer, Alex Spiro, who also represented Meg Thee Stallion, and all kinds of different things. Okay. The issue that I have from what I read is that the biggest part of it is that he has one of his aides who basically gave instructions on how to commit the fraud. So I don't know if they're going to get that person too. I'm assuming that at some point they may, or maybe they just want the big fish. I don't know. But 5 charges is crazy work to me. 5 federal charges is crazy work to me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I don't know enough. Maybe I just, I don't know. But 5 federal charges is a lot. I don't know. Again, everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Let me just say that. But in the matter of public opinion and what I read, it ain't really looking too swift. It's not looking too good. Because if you have a text message coming from your from your aide telling you how to commit the fraud, and then you go and do the fraud, Houston, we got a problem. He also said in one of the text messages that I erased all of my messages. Sir and ma'ams, anybody who was listening to me. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to commit no crime, but what I can tell you is what not to do to commit a crime. If you're going to commit a crime, if you thought that you erased your phone so well that the feds couldn't pull it, or anybody couldn't pull it, I need you to go back to the old landmark and let me just explain to you. There are forensic people who literally will comb through phones and electronic devices to find anything that could possibly be deleted. There is never a situation where you have deleted anything. I know regular people who can get to your phone and you thought you deleted it and can get it off. I know people in my personal circle that if I ever gave a phone of somebody that I knew and handed it to them and they said, oh, I erased it, ain't nothing on there, you can do whatever, you can look it on there you want to, you ain't gonna find nothing. I have people that I know in my personal circle that could pull that information out of you and out of your phone, not necessarily out of you, but out of your phone without even a blink. You could think you've erased it, and I got people that can pull that. Now, if I got people that can pull it, the feds can do a quicker and more expedient job than I, or the people I know. And no, I'm not giving you information. I'm just telling you that I got people. So all I'm saying is, it's really not looking good. Again, everybody is presumed innocent until proven, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But in the court of public opinion, and from those charges that I read, and again, the feds have an above 95% rate. They don't miss. All I need him to do is to gird up his loins and get his situations under control, because when I tell you they're going to freeze all the things, I don't know if he's already moved money and had already moved money and prior to this, which I'm sure if he did, they found it as well. All I'm telling you is that he had better had a contingency plan, because New York City is on the foolishness these last couple of weeks. Because Diddy came from New York City. You got this mayor that was in New York City. And remember, this is the same mayor that gave Diddy the key to the city. So honestly, New York ain't really looking too good right now. It's not looking too good for New York. It's just not. I mean, I didn't choose that for you. I want it better for you, but we're here now. So New York City is doing the most right now. Okay. So again, in the matter of public opinion, in the text that I read, and not the text, but the indictment that I read, there are text messages telling his aide is telling him what to do. It is not looking good. Okay. So again, you don't got to be you ain't got to be big time and no lawyer, nothing else. But if you can read, my mom, always told me to read. You can read, you can find out all the things. And that's where some of y'all gonna miss. We talked about this last week. Let me bring this up one more again, because some of y'all be on the short bus. Some of y'all reading skills is lacking, not because you don't have access to reading, but because you refuse to do it. And so some of y'all are going to make a rant and go online and defend the New York City mayor. I'm going to need you to just pull back, because y'all was out here doing the most, and some of y'all still out here shucking and jiving for Diddy that ain't never seen you, ain't gonna never pay your bills, and he ain't even got access to his own funds. Okay. And I need y'all to read, because reading will stop some of y'all rants right in its place. Some of y'all go past the point of we try to drop a breadcrumb hey, baby, don't do that. Back it up some. You like the church mothers, baby, don't do that. Baby, don't go there. Baby, don't do that. And you be like, no, I'm going to do it my way. Y'all doing it y'all way and looking mad crazy out here in these streets defending somebody that don't even know you and or can't do nothing for you. That's hustling backwards. You talking about hustling backwards? That's really hustling backwards. Because I'm not capping for Diddy. Because I know good and darn well Diddy don't know me. He can't do nothing for me. But when I can read the indictments and I can see the stuff that they have, and this is the thing on Diddy. The stuff that they put in the indictment ain't even the surface of the stuff they got. They ain't even released it all. They're still combing through. They're still gathering witnesses. It's an ongoing situation. But what they already have, they could go to court with just what they got and they could get it. They can get W. Okay, this ain't like watching your favorite football team where somebody gonna fall off. These people have a 95% and above rate. They don't miss. When they hit, they don't miss. It's a rarity. Okay, so I need y'all that's non-reading to at least get around somebody that has read the indictment. And before you go online and make a post, I'm gonna need you to read indictments. I know reading is hard for some of y'all, but I need you to do it. And I'm not insulting nobody. I'm not like, you dummies can't read. No, ma'am, that's not me. I don't do that. What I am saying is there's usually the loud ones who never put their eye on an indictment, never read the pages. Now, there's 57 pages to this indictment. I read a book longer than that in a day. I need you to read it. So you at least, when you go online and make a story, you can at least be educated before you go in there and make a story. Because I'm just going to need you to take some time to read. Okay? That's just that's my 5-second TED Talk. I want you to go ahead and read. Okay, but we're about to end this episode because we've got a lot going on, but we are almost at the end of the month. How are we at the end of September, about to trickle over to October? The year is swiftly coming to an end, but regardless of if it's coming to an end or not, there might be some things, some goals that you feel like you have let yourself down. You did not honor yourself and what you said you were going to do. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to start the goal now. I don't want you waiting until I ain't do it, so we're just going to wait. I'll reset the new year. Hey, no, my friend. Don't do that. I need you to stop what you are doing and begin the new work now. Start the goal now. Do not wait till the end of the year. You can start afresh now. You don't got to wait for a church announcement. The doors of the church don't have to be open before you can do what you got to do. You can start now. My PKs, you heard that? Because y'all be hearing me. Because the PKs don't come out of me. But I don't need you to wait. I need you to do that now. Whatever you didn't honor yourself in this year with your goals, I want you to figure out a way to start now. Start it now. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. Start it now. Do it now. The power is in you. You can change anything in a day. You can start right now. As soon as you heard me, write your goals. Okay, which ones that I didn't do? All right, I'm going to write them down and we're going to start doing today. What can I do to get to this goal? What can I do right now? One thing. Find 2 or 3 areas in your life. Pick one goal starting today. Don't wait till that new year. Don't be waiting for the song to come up and the balloons and stuff to drop and your wine and champagne pouring before you say, you know what? I'm going to try it again this year. No, start right now. Go ahead. Start right now. Write them down. I want you to pick 3 areas of your life. Write one goal for each of those 3 areas and start them today. Do not wait, because you may not get a chance, right? You may not. I want you to take your chance because you're worthy of that chance and you are worthy. Listen, if you dishonored yourself and you didn't meet your goal, dust yourself. Just take your hand. You know how we used to dust our shoulders off from Jay-Z back in the day? I need you to dust yourself off right now. And I want you to start on your goal right now. One thing, 3 areas. Write it down. Start it right now. Have the most amazing weekend. Have the most amazing week. Next week, I will be back. I'm going to be hopefully coming back with the energy because I feel so good today. I feel good. My therapist has been, God's gift. God said, let me help this girl out. She be out here tripping. Let me make sure she get what she need to get. And he has been blessing me. I'm telling you right now, therapy has been amazing for me. Anywho, have the most amazing week. Find at least one activity that you can do for yourself this weekend before you do the whole Uber parent thing, before you start running around doing a list of going to the grocery store, hitting up Target. Some of y'all that's been trickling past, doing the running man past the Walmart, all that. Whatever you're doing to reset yourself for the next week, I get it. Do it. But while you're doing that, I want you to find at least one activity, something that's going to fill your cup up, that when you go back to work on Monday or you talk to your friends, they say, girl, what'd you do? Even if it's one thing. Hey, I just got some rest this weekend. That's a blessing. Oh, you know what? I went to the farmer's market and I found some fruit that I've been looking for and I didn't have to pay a lot of money. Oh, there's an example. Praise be. Or you know what? I decided to go visit a family or write a letter to a friend. Or you know what? I was looking for this book. I could not find it. I went to the library, found it for free. Oh my God. Or, hey, I wanted this really good meal. I haven't cooked in a long time. And I decided to, try a new meal, this new recipe this weekend. And it worked out. It don't have to be nothing major, but you can do one activity for yourself that's going to fill your cup. You are deserving. You are worthy. We are coming to the close of another month. Oh my gosh. And we're about to start into October, but I want you to start right. I want you to start fresh. I want you to write those 3 things down, 3 areas of your life, one goal for each. Start it now. I send love to you. I send all the amazingment to you. I hope that you are taking care of you and your mental health. You are getting yourself together. You are putting them dead weight. You're pushing them to the side. Listen, it could even be your spouse. Put them to the side. Focus on you. The one thing my therapist has said, focusing on me has been chef's kisses. I can't do nothing for my husband. I love that man, but I can't do nothing for him. He said, focus on me. And I've been focusing on me. And I'm telling you, the pure joy that I've had, it's not that I'm like, I'm leaving my husband behind. No. He has his journey. I have mine. As a wife, just because we're married doesn't mean his journey becomes mine and mine's because his. What happens is that he has somebody that can hopefully support him when he's doing his journey and he can support me and mine. But for me, for the first time in a long time, I'm cashing in on me. I'm betting on me. I'm looking to do whatever I can for me, and them babies gonna be all right. Okay, so do all the things. I love you. Have the greatest weekend. Have an amazing week, and you got this.
Thank you as always for joining me. And I know that even in the deepest or joyful conversations, that there's something we can learn and apply. Until next time, I hope that you are doing better. If not, we will be back to talk some more and handle it. Peace to you and yours. Stay grounded.